Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Valorant Champions Tour Challengers 2 close qualifiers presented by Nerd Street Gamers. If you guys have missed the action, shame on you. Both maps going 13 to 10 on first Ascent, then Icebox. Now, Dusk, we head over to a map that I think everybody has been avoiding, like the coronavirus, that map being Split.
Yeah, it is going to be Split. Both these teams have pretty good track records overall throughout their history. That has to be stated. I mean, both these teams have, at the very least, like 75%, 85% win rate on Split. So definitely, very strong overall records. However, when it comes to kind of the head-to-head that we've been looking at, it's mostly gone the way of Sentinels. I mean, they were able to beat Envy on a close Split match in the Winter Championships from Nerd Street Gamers. They're also able to beat them on Split at Pop Flash, as well as, a couple other places. But we have seen in the past Envy be able to beat them on Split at the FaZe Clan Invitational, and a lot of their Split matches have been pretty close. So this is going to be very interesting. It's one of those maps that both teams are very, very strong defensively on. I think both teams are kind of in that, high 60% to low 70% range on defensive win rate. So it's going to be one of those where, it's going to come up to big defenses, just kind of like we saw there on Icebox, really. So, yeah, I'm pumped, man. I'm ready for this to get going.
Yeah, you said the track record on this map pretty good for both of these teams, and what better way to earn your spot in this? Not that anybody has an easy road, but to go two maps, 23 rounds deep, now going into the third, I can't imagine we see anything different than just to earn your spot in Masters. The loser does still have a chance, but the loser has to play 100 Thieves after this one. So, it's, again, no easy road for anybody all the way through and through. Split has since received some changes, and I'm interested to see how these guys are going to be playing around that. And I don't think we see anybody shy away, or I guess Sentinels at the very least, shy away from the Sage once more on this map.
No, certainly think that's going to be an option. I mean, both teams coming into this match with 4-game winning streaks on Split. So both teams have been on a bit of a hot streak lately on the map. So we'll see whose streak comes to an end, who finds the Masters slot. And so many other storylines really kind of tie into this here, as we should be getting to Agent Select pretty soon to start figuring out what kind of compositions we're going to see. And, Sick, again, no surprise here to see him on the stage. Everybody else taking agents that you would expect, as Sinatra has often played Raze on this map. So really nothing to highlight on Sentinels. This is exactly what you would expect. Now, over on the Envy side, there is something I want to point out. This is one of the maps where Mummy will actually pick up the Jet and be that traditional Jet operator. That's going to mean that Caboose is going to go onto the Omen and away from a Duelist. So that's one thing to point out. Here's the other thing to point out that I think is very interesting. Lately, we have been seeing Envy put Crashies on the Sky on Split. He's played some Breach in the past on this map, but now they have him play in the Sky. So that is one other thing that's going to come and be a factor on this map. So going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. There's also food coming off the Phoenix and being put onto a Raze as well. Again, that's not going to be, too much different for him. He's definitely put a lot of games out on Raze as well. Yeah, Phoenix is definitely his main. He's got way more games on it, but this map really does play to Raze's kit, and he's going to be able to, I would imagine, play it pretty darn well as he has done in the past. So this is it, man. Frenzy's aplenty, lots on the line, and Envy will kick us off here on the attack as they're looking to storm into B lobby.
And again, Frenzy's the Ghost, A-okay in this one, but a lot of the times we're going to be seeing the feeding of Frenzy. Now over towards this B site, like you noted. Shots up from heaven. Nice little spray down. Sinatra going to find the first, and he is picking up, and he is hot here in this one. 3 quick kills will stunt this push, and you see Alert coming around from Mummy, but somebody's right behind him, Dust, trailing very closely.
Indeed, that is going to be the case, as Mummy is going to get caught up here in a crossfire inside B Heaven, and Caboose doesn't seem like he's long for this world either. Does dodge the paint shells, but does not escape the bullets of Sinatra. A big hat trick for Sinatra. I think that's kind of big for him, right? We know that he had his struggles on Reyna on Icebox, so to see him come out like that with a big hat trick round on pistol, I'm sure that's going to do, good for his mental game and kind of allow him to focus back up. No kills that round from Envy. They got absolutely shut down.
Nothing. And it makes this next round hurt, right? Stingers coming on through. That's the way of the land here for this Valorant patch. And I would imagine a lot of their utility takes a hit. You see no trap wires there for the Cypher, and the rest of the team probably going to be following suit, you know, having to buy up that light armor and the Stinger behind it. Fortunately for Crashies, as the flashes, the Trailblazer can heal up his team, which in these earlier rounds gets a whole lot of value for your squad.
Yeah, Sky does give you a lot of the value that Silva gives you on other maps, but Silva obviously doesn't get played here, so you kind of get a little bit of that with Sky. Plus, like you said, the healing of teammates and things of that nature. As Envy not wasting any time here, getting some mid control, putting that pressure on Rope's position. They're looking to now even threaten A Heaven and simultaneously take B Heaven and get an entry. So they're making it hard on Sentinels to try to get a proper read on how they should be rotating. They're getting a lot of map control, and now they actually have man advantage, and they're starting to lay into A Heaven. They're going to attack onto the site, and it's pretty empty.
Yep, fairly empty as the two rotating are going to be through screens. Sinatra going to be trailing right behind. No, not through vents. Is going to opt into going back through that defender-sided spawn as he makes me eat my words. And yeah, you saw the transition over towards B because a couple of kills came through, and then the about face back to A. Sentinels didn't really know where this play was going to take place. Now Flash still available. Gonna get some information that one is playing up towards Heaven, possibly two, as they are up there. Zam gonna push onto the site. Mummy gonna take him down. That's Mummy on the jet this time around. You pointed it out, and it's starting to pay off. The cloud burst goes through to try and stop anybody else coming through elbow, and Sinatra now needs to show up. He's got some help. Unfortunately, as I said, Dapper was mowed down in Envy. They win the force. They tie us up 1-1, and we are back to the slobber knocker, Dust.
Indeed we are. And I mean, again, Split really does a lot of times on attacking side come down to how well you're able to control middle, and with that, how are you able to bounce off of it and threaten those Heaven positions on both sides of the map. And what Ropes being such a quick transition process to get back and forth between the two, you can really make defenses scramble and have to play for retakes, or just have to always be in kind of, you know, situations of uncertainty. And certainly that's what Envy were able to do there, even with just the Stingers. And now we see Crashies using the Trailblazer to clear out some of these close angles and get some B lobby control. Not going to be able to get more than that, has to just back off, but still his job is somewhat done, kind of clearing out a little bit of key intel. Wall is down at middle though, so that's certainly going to slow down that portion, but now they'll spray it down.
I think notable about those Sky flashes as well, or really any flashes in Valorant, is even if it's behind you, you're looking away, you get a little bit of the effect from being flashed. So that flash going through B main tells them that nobody's pushing in. Obviously, it went all the way out towards site, but if somebody was pushing in and that flash was behind them, it would have told them that they're blinded, blindsided. Our food and Mummy as they look to push up towards Heaven, but sick. The bouncer at the door, not letting it happen this time around, and they're just going to get corralled. The spike is now down, and there it is, Crashies all by his lonesome. Gonna get run down. A flawless round in response from Sentinels.
Yeah, that was really big. You got to tip your hat to Sick there, just playing from the rafters, getting 2 huge kills. That really just busted Envy's attack before it could even really get started. Yes, they were able to get that mid control, but you got to be able to peel back that next layer to really get something going, and they were not able to do that. Sick holds firm. Once his wall broke down, he knew the potential for that attack, and he was able to deal with it very effectively. And so that's 2 now to Sentinels, so a little bit of a back and forth here to kick off this map. We are going to see the buyback here from Envy, though. A couple of rifles in play, a Stinger, and I believe a Sheriff is the 5th gun of choice. Camming here to try to make sure no one's getting aggressive on the orb or A ramps to start. Cage will be there so they can start the cross, looking to try to control ramps, get into A Heaven. Spike has been left behind, so it's not a firm commitment, but they at least want to put a threat here, maybe get a pick, and again, just get some early map control. Give you something to work with. Give the defense something to sweat about. He's going to be able to get the stun there in the back halls.
So a bit of information, Sinatra on the rotate, does get spotted out, trying to trade back the damage. A couple of Spectres from downtown, but the Vandal comes out on top and Crashy some way, somehow picks it up with the Stinger. Now Sentinels find themselves on the back foot, and it's been the split pressure the entire game. Envy are keeping it on all over the map. This time, a bit more heavy towards A, a bit more heavy towards mid, and it's starting to work out.
Yeah, it certainly is here. As they are now storming through A heaven with that 2-man advantage. They have full control side. There's a defender blocked off inside elbow, isolated from support, but Dapper comes through screens and finds one, and Zom's able to sit on the site, but he is quickly dealt with. There was this small spurt of energy from Sentinels, but now it's being stamped out. Sick was trying to give it a bit more life, but never could quite get it all the way through. Envy will get the victory. They'll get the plant. They'll tie things right back up, and it's tit for tat again, Tanner. No one really gaining control of the game just yet. It's still very much up for grabs.
Both teams were on a bit of a hindered economy as well. There were a couple of rifles sprinkled in and SMGs. Now we're getting kind of the same thing. Crashy's going to be on that Stinger, who was very potent on it in that last one. But this should be the round that really starts to creep one team further ahead. The ultimates available. You have a handful of information from Envy. On the opposite side for Sentinels, you've got some damage, and worst case scenario, again, you have that res coming on through. You'll have that 6th man on your team for that round should they choose to use it here. And I don't think this round is a bad time to use it. I think this is very important as far as the economy goes.
Yeah, once again, mid-control being taken by Envy. They're going to clear out Rote's position as well, make sure they can safely take that. And again, that just opens up so many extra options on that flow chart on the attacking side of Split to have this. But we do see the Jet tucks in after the Trailblazer has faded, so it is going to be a challenge. Once again, Sick playing B Heaven from that Raptors position. He is pushed off, however, so Envy are getting so much ground right now, but Sick, again, up to the task of defending.
Finding a kill, walking away with low HP, but gladly you will trade that as the B site has been taken just about all the way across the board. Sentinels looking to find a way in. It's Sinatra with the showstopper. Behind him is Crashies, and the showstopper gets nothing. Now the spike to be planted, but you still cannot count this Sentinel squad out. You've got a couple playing up towards heaven, one playing back towards that defender-sided spawn. What can Shazam find here? He's got to check every single angle. And again, the tall box added the different angles that you have here playing back towards the defender side of spawn, but 2 kills come on through, and now things are looking quite a bit more doable. Kaboo's going to push on in, find a kill, no longer on the raise, but the Omen, and another one to follow. Can he make it through? Yes, he can. Envy inch that one out.
Indeed, they do. And again, it just comes down to how well they're implementing this mid-control. And that time around, they were also able to even push Sick off of B Heaven and kind of limit his impact. And now the economy is starting to become a limiting factor for Sentinels, because finally, Envy has won a couple in a row. And again, no real big loss bonus has been yet built up. And so we're actually going to see Sentinels, they're going to go on the full Stingers, which they can afford to do. They will hit max loss bonus if they lose here, so they still have a full buy next round no matter what. Yeah, it probably would lack an operator or something like that. Actually, no, Shazam would be able to buy it. So yeah, they're going to put something forward here, but nothing to hamstring their economy completely. And this is Envy's chance to maybe start breaking open that score. They're going to be looking to fight for B lobby control while simultaneously also pressuring the A ramp. So no mid this time, but still applying pressure in multiple areas, making the defense a little bit stressed out on where they need to be focusing.
Cover going out.
Blazer going up towards heaven is going to spot out Shazam. And note the arsenal a little bit. That is hurting, as that Phantom will sit Zoms down in the neural theft. Get the information of Sinatra rotating over. And the remaining 2 playing out towards B. Looking to be a quick take onto A here, but Envy, they've actually been stunted a little bit. They're playing it a bit slower, and that spike still really trailing out towards A main. They have not found a way in, and the site, obviously known to us, was free just moments ago. Sinatra gonna go 1-for-1, trade it right back. Dapper is here doing the Stingers, find the damage from downtown, and Sick with the running headshots onto Caboose. And it makes you think, what was Envy waiting for? Because they run right to their doom. Now Sick, the last one standing. That Stinger, again, not a gun that you can count out here. Also has the res available should he be able to get to one of these bodies for his teammates.
Yeah, that's exactly how come they haven't left him alone yet and displayed the 2-on-1 post, but they don't want him to have a chance to res here. Food wants to stick around and prevent that, and he's going to be able to do just that and get the kill onto Sick. I think most people would expect you just back off of your teammate, play the 2v1, but it wasn't a guaranteed 2v1 if Sick was able to find the res. So good job there by him to stick around and not allow that, and that's going to put a 4th round on the board for Envy. Or it's going to be 4 alts in play for Envy as well coming into this next round, including the Seekers of Crashies, which can obviously be used for some pretty nifty little burst plays. which Envy are certainly no strangers to. We talked about it time and time again. I don't want to beat a dead horse about it, but Envy certainly one of those explosive teams, just like Sentinels are. And so early round fireworks are always a factor. And when you have a tool like Seekers to add to it, it just really, you know, kind of emphasizes it more.
And Sinatra gonna get 2 through the smoke here. Playing aggressive, not giving any space for a play to be made with those Seekers. Not just yet, at the very least. And Caboose, some way, somehow, will find Sick. And Sentinels, no longer, as I was about to say, find themselves on the back foot. They're going to even the odds, and they're forced to use the blades here. Crashy on low HP. The unfortunate thing about the Sky is cannot heal himself, and it's looking like another play towards B. That wall only going to cut off mid, and this time you don't have to worry about the res. You can play that 2v1 that you talked about, Dust. Exactly.
Really well done here by Envy, particularly that ult from Caboose into A Heaven. He catches a great time and gets a couple of big kills into A Heaven, and those back hauls put Shazam in a very tough 1v2. But Sky is low, so it was winnable, but Caboose holding a solid angle there beats Shazam to the jump, able to get the frag and put this one to 5-2 in favor of Envy. Caboose having a hell of a game at 9 kills. And Envy are really starting to build up nicely. This was a nice little stall out from Sentinels early on at A-Ramps, but again, Caboose's maneuvering with the ult, able to kind of break it back open. A big hat-trick round from him. Massive impact from Caboose. And that is going to give them quite the lead, and Sentinels' economy absolutely in the bin this round. We'll just have to go for the Stingers.
Yeah, and what was that round? As again, through the smoke, Sinatra trying to make a play. Last time it was 2 kills spraying through the smoke. This time trying to push through with the Stinger, close the gap. The Phantom still coming out on top for Finesse. Res is available, but that's a spooky spot to try and res now.
Yeah, Sick, I think, is just really showing you the power of Sky on a map like Split, where you don't have a Sova usually available because no one plays it for good reason. You're able to use the Trailblazer to kind of do a lot of the same things a drone would do. So it gives you that extra ability to get information, get map control, and just win the information game, which is like such an important aspect of Valorant. Like, you know, that between the normal economy system, the alt economy system, you know, map control, like all those different things, you know, that you're going to see in a tactical shooter. That information game is big, what the different abilities can play. And Sick, look at a couple of big kills. Oh man, he was trying to get a res off. That could have made the round very interesting, but he's been caught, and it seems like Envy now will maybe be comfortably putting finishing touches on this.
30 seconds left.
Hey, I'm no coach, I'm no ginormous brain analyst, but Envy's gotta stop lining up for these guys. It's been 3 times that they found spray downs like that, and you would think you'd be an extra man up here had that not happened. Sure, the kill did get traded, but Shazam back in the 1v2, and there's not many more people who are more clutch than this Jet right here as he swings on through. Mummy will find 3, and you gotta stop lining up for him. It does work out in Envy's favor, but we've seen it in that last map on Icebox. The clutch situations, when you line up, they usually go the way of Sentinels.
Yeah, certainly can be a factor. Definitely something to, you know, always have to be weary of. But again, Mummy, great catch there to stop the res. And then Envy able to dot the I's and cross the T's of yet another round. They're starting to build up a nice little lead here in the first half. They won 5 in a row. They're starting to really gain control of the game here. There is a buyback, though, now for Sentinels. They do have plenty of ults as well. So this is the moment where they should be able to strike back if they're ever going to do so in this half. And again, this map is very defensive-sided for both these teams. Both these teams really, you know, like to claim very high defensive win rates on Split. It's kind of their backbone of how they're able to succeed on Split. And so for Envy to have this much success on TAC already is a worrying sign if you're a Sentinels fan. So it's kind of now or no if you're Sentinels to recover. This is your moment. This is your buy. This is where you got all the ults. You got to make this one work. Oh, look at this, though. Look at how much ground Caboose has cleared at B. Oh, my God. He's fully in.
They're all the way up just about everywhere. Sentinels back off so much, but they trade 2 for 1. So favorable, although the map control not in their favor. And the res finally comes through, so it's going to be that 5v3.
Oh,
Caboose
no.
had so much space, but he fumbles it. And Sentinels are looking to get back in this one as the plant comes through. FNS not going to be able to get too much there. Mummy going to whip on the knives, and It wasn't flawless. It looks flawless, but Sentinels battle back and put another one in the win column.
Yeah, that's so wild. When Caboose got all that ground and was in back halls of B, I thought that Envy was sure to pivot back and just lay claim to an empty site, but they can never transition the bulk of their forces. Yeah, they had B under Caboose's control. The spike was transitioning over. There's still 3 players essentially locked into A ramps in A heaven position, and they couldn't really back off. And they actually wound up losing a big exchange when Fu gets caught there. I don't know why they did that. I would have thought maybe just pounce into ropes and transition back over to middle and split that B site that you've laid claim to thanks to Caboose's, lurking option, but that wasn't the case at all. And they fumbled a big one there. That's going to kind of crack the door back open for Sentinels. That's a big victory to claim. Sick being a big part of it. This time he's trying to get a little bit crazy at middle. Doesn't work out for him, but gets away with his life, so no harm, no foul.
Got a bit of damage down onto Mummy, too. So
True.
Not that that matters a whole lot because it only takes 1 shot from Mummy. But now it could be a phantom 1-tap. It could be a secondary picking up a headshot in close quarters that could sit Mummy down with the operator. We'll see how all of that pans out as, again, it's mid-control. Trailblazer and go on through into ropes. Now we've seen that not necessarily be the safest play, and through the smokes again, they will go. Sick playing right inside. Gonna dodge out on that flash, so no information there.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to allow him to get the jump on them because they were expecting that flash to get a read if someone was going to be playing in through B heaven, but not going to be the case. He's still going to be holding this corner, but with no way out, he is going to get sniffed out by Food. And so Envy getting the big entry. Heals coming in as well from the sky. Caboose is also still laying claim to A heaven, still being that aggro lurk option for the team. And again, he's clearing so much space alone. This time you feel like they're primed to actually build off of it. Well,
he flips back around and Sinatra takes him down, but what a read by Sentinels to not give up this A site, although it looked like a handful were going over towards B. Now the A site's starting to get cleared out and things get a bit easier in this take as Dappers finds Crash. He takes a bit of damage on the way out, but still healthy enough to try and fight low HP as well. On Food, the Rays stuck on the site, and the post-plant positions aren't the worst as that op shot from downtown. Shazam now trying to trade things back in a 1v2 once more, trying to go clutch, has to clear out the angles, but Mummy will sit him down, rights his wrongs, and Envy now guarantee themselves the Lions half of this half.
Indeed. They also put the economic reset to Sentinels, so while they are able to buy this round, their money is drained, and with only a 2-round loss bonus going into the final round of the half, they would be really slim pickings for weaponry if they take the L here, and that would give a great chance for Envy to jump up to that 9-3 read from the attacking side of a map where, again, both these teams find most of their success defensively, so this is really great news for Envy fans out there following along. Envy are putting together a really nice attacking half.
Mummy just milliseconds away. Had he had that reaction time, spots out Sinatra as the smoke goes through, and it does force them back, knowing that 2 up towards heaven with the rifle spraying on down through the smoke. And that has been a very potent strategy for Sentinels. They found too many kills through the smoke, too many lineup kills as well. But with that, it's now slowed down again, that 5-point stance across the map. Envy trying to gain control.
I like it, though. I like Sentinels, because we've seen Envy time and time again cage that cross and threaten A ramps and get into A heaven position and make it really tough on Sentinels defensively. So they deny that, and then they kind of fall back to more of a default holding pattern. Wall is going to break down at middle. Fu going to use that boom bot now to start trying to clear out Rose's position, but Sinatra plays off of it perfectly for 2 kills. What a well-done round, and they're winning these exchanges in middle. They still have man advantage. Despite the fact that things have gotten dicey, they also have the spike in their possession.
And that is arguably one of the worst spots to have it go down, and Crashies from downtown is only good for just about 120 damage
30 seconds
on
left.
Dapper. Now Mummy. In the inverse, we've seen Shazam, the Jet for Sentinels, trying to clutch things out. I think Mummy might just try and hang on to this operator. There is really no safe way into that spike.
No, there's really not. There was like a gap inside that smoke over towards Ramen where Dapper maybe could have gotten caught out there by Crashies, but when he won that duel, it pretty much sealed this round's fate on where it was going to be headed, and that's going to be over to Sentinels. A big round to win. It makes sure that they're going to have full weaponry in the final round of the half, and it stops Envy from increasing that lead and creating too big of a gap to recover from here on Split again. so much on the line here, as this is our first spot for Masters up for grabs here for stage 1 of the Valorant Champion Tour. And while there is no elimination on the line here, it still would be nice to go ahead and seal the deal right now, not have to worry about Challengers 3 or worry about a lower bracket. And again, for Envy, it would be massive, I think, for their mental gain to finally beat Sentinels in a series, something they've yet to ever do in the history of Valorant. And I mean, at different points in time, they have looked in firm control, and they're, again, looking in really good shape here on Split Attack.
Another slower start here. This is what worked out before for Envy. And last round, unfortunately, didn't go their way, but the split's a little different. And they've got FNS creeping up right behind Crashes to see if they can get anything done. And you really have to give props to Sinatra in that last round for just kind of blowing caution to the wind with that paint shell, or with that boombot rather. Flash actually not going to spot him out, but Crashies does. So no information, no blind to come through because of that box. And now Sinatra looking to go aggro on the inverse. Does he spot the player out in the smoke and get trapped up? Is he going to be taken down? Yes, he is. Crashies is able to secure the kill. Now the Seekers go through, and I think it's one of the first times we've seen it. So the information is there.
And then
the
neural
theft on top of it all. They're just throwing everything at the Sentinel squad to try and grab 8 rounds. And Caboose once more has postured deep into this defender-sided spawn. And all 3 are coming through a smoke, but Shazam with an easy right click to the head will pop the grape of the Omen. They've still got 4 more to worry about, and they're down to their last 2. Food gonna pop out the showstopper, try and do just that against Shazam, who's looking to go hot in this one. Paranoia goes through. Shazam finds 1, dash into the back of the site. Food will trade it back, and here we go. A 1v3, but it's not enough manpower for Sentinels, and Envy secure 8 rounds at the half. And we are going to jump away to a quick break before we close things out and see who will qualify for Masters.
Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God, down, up, back, back, God, down, up, back, back, up, God.
The last half of the series here. Envy trying to close it out, and they've got 4 rounds padded for this one, Dust.
Yes, this is getting down to the last few deciding moments as Envy find themselves in a very comfortable position, coming up with a huge attacking half. Again, they were just so good at exploiting mid control, so good at attacking into A heaven. Caboose, time and time again, able to get into the back lines and disrupt things. And that last round of the first half, they just used their ults to perfection and just destroyed a site and had a nice little kind of feint and a double back. And now we are going to see the pistol here in the second half. Sentinels wasting no time laying claim to an empty B site as NV are looking to play for the retake. Wall has already been broken. Crashy's making sure that there's no mid flank, and they're about to start sliding into the DMs of Sentinels here at the B site.
Yeah, and it's actually sick to deny that one, throwing the block out onto Food, making sure that
that's a friend zone. Yep.
Yeah, into the friend zone of Food will go. The flank not getting too much. I thought maybe Crashies would get something done. It is one kill, but Sentinels, a free B site means a free pistol round one.
Yeah, there was no one there getting any kind of attention in the inbox there. That was straight up Sentinels bulldozing into B, trying to close that gap early on here in the beginnings of this second half. And we are going to see the Stingers out here from Envy, so they're looking to contest right away. And that seems to be the trend lately. It seems like everyone's going for these Stingers by second round. They kind of realize the way the economy system works, that they can still full buy when need be if the Stingers don't work out. So that's what they're going to be going for.
Yeah, it's a Caboose this time. Going to be the on the receiving end of the paint shells, taking a bit of damage. Is able to back away. The spike down on the ground, way over towards Sewer. So just a feint out towards B from Sentinels to see what they can get done. And it looks to be just a bit of damage. Find out some of that utility as well. Slower orb into the back. The reload comes through. Sinatra trying to run him down, but Caboose is able to sneak away. Now the wall has since been broken, and Crashies goes on the offense and picks up a kill. A good one at that, as they are on the lower end of that arsenal. But the rest of the squad here, Dust, creeping on through to A.
Yeah, indeed they are, and they're trying to get the backstab here, potentially onto Finesse, who is playing over towards Rance, but he's in a good spot. It's all going to come down to timing, and while he gets the dink on the Shazam and knocks him down to 33, Shazam does find that entry to start breaking open this A site. There is still one defender, though, left unchecked. It's Mummy with the jet, trying to bob and weave around his smoke, but is going to get traded out by Sinatra. It's going to keep things even as the spike gets planted. Food, though, slipping into elbow, but nothing coming from it. It's being shut down by Sentinels all across the board. It's only on Caboose now.
And it's Dink City here. Everybody on Sentinels getting touched in the head by these Stingers, but that's not enough damage to sit him down. And through the smoke, Shazam will find a 3K. It started off dicey, but Sentinels reel it back in.
Yes, they do. 2 rounds now separate these two top squads of the North American region for that master slot that is at the end of the finish line of splits. And it seems like we are once again, like our first 2 maps that went to 13-10, in here for the long haul. No one seems to be looking to necessarily capture the game and just run away with it just yet, as we are going to see Envy fairly well ecoed here. Food does have a Bucky. There's some pistols here and there, but it is slim pickings, and one's already been found out.
Yeah, should that had been the Bucky, maybe a bit more value. Unfortunately, it's there's no calm in that chaos, as Sinatra's able to net the alt orb. Also has that showstopper now available. And with that Sage wall outside of the paint shells being used and the kills coming through, you maybe think that it could just be the Sage there. It's another feint towards B for a moment. And had those kills come through, that would have been spiked down. So Envy really missing out on that opportunity. Again, it looks like another free take over towards A. Frenzy damage going down. Shazam still nice and healthy, though, able to back his teammate up. Mummy with the classic, not able to get away this time, but somehow we find ourselves even. I say somehow, but it's the power of the Bucky. It's the power of the paint shells. And now we got to see the power of Crashies as he looks to rear up on this site. And the spike yet to be planted. There it goes, and just a frenzy in hand. Should be able to pick up that Bucky. A very, very tall order from downtown. Sinatra will find the kill, and Sentinels close the gap now down to 1.
Yeah, Sentinels, again, just like Envy, can be that fiery, explosive team on this split, as they have been on every other map in the pool we've witnessed. They're very good at pivoting between, heavy mid control and just doing these, burst plays. And what that also sets up for later is you kind of condition your opponent to respect the threat that those numbers pose. And that's when you can start throwing like little fakes or little feints and kind of keeping your defensive opponent guessing on where the end goal is actually going to be for your team. And then at that point, it just comes down to the trading efficiency. And right now we're seeing Sentinels start to piece together an appropriate attacking half. Again, they are very early laying claim here to A Heaven and Ramps control with that cage cross and boom bot. Crashies will spot it. They're going to try to put it slowed down with the Hawk. Indeed, he will get the flash and get some intel, but still Sentinels laying claim to the territory.
And not a whole lot there as Dapper tries to find what could be a trap wire. Unfortunately, just missing out on that one. So he's not just shooting at the wall randomly. And unfortunately for Envy, they don't have any ults here. They're very close to the Seekers, but they're going to have to find an orb or a kill, which is obviously incredibly difficult on this defending side, especially with the posture, the position that Sentinels have for themselves. And on the inverse, they've got the knives. They've got the showstopper. They can look to make a play, but over towards B. That lurk not going to get any value as Sick taken off the board. Sentinels usually do pretty good with their backs against the wall, though.
Yeah, Crashies wasn't able to get that Trailblazer up, though, and actually get full numbers on A side, so they're actually not quite sure how big of attack this is going to be. And now it's coming in at just the right time before Envy could really get the rotations in, and they're getting the entries as well. But look at Crashies from the back of the site. Huge kills, changes everything.
Changes everything, and a bit of a hiccup as Sinatra tried to get on the site. He was body blocked by Dapper. He still got a kill with that showstopper, but it wasn't before that player on the site picked up a kill in response. So right here, just before that, FNS had actually killed Dapper. Crashies does close things out for that push onto the site, and then Food obviously with the kill with the cherry on top. But
that was just so big from Crashies, because whenever Mummy gets that kill over towards B lobby onto Sage, they don't have any real info anywhere, and they were relying on Crashies Trailblazer to kind of pick up on numbers at A, and he didn't spot anything really, except for one player, so they didn't know what was going to happen, so they couldn't really rotate, but then Crashies shut them down anyway by himself. What a play. But now Sentinels looking to pounce once again on A site quickly. It is empty this time. It's going to be a retake play from Envy mostly, but Finesse has been caught in the process. Wall goes down on screens, and the spike will get planted.
Sinatra making sure there's no free lunch here through this Heaven entry as the Seekers go through. Fortunately, he downs his Seeker, so the one allotted to him is down, and now going the other way, but Mummy answering back with knives of his own, finds 3. Now needs to find a couple more. It's down to the last 2. It's down to the last one for Zoms. All the way by his lonesome, lower HP, but they can just stick the spike. It's not planted for him, and they're going to do just that. Crashies and Mummy go huge again for Envy.
Hey, Mummy.
Yeah.
I mean, just give it up for the guy, right?
That's
what a play. Holy cow. There's no real analysis needed other than what Mummy just did. He told the whole story by himself. I don't need to do it for him. What a play. That's such a big moment, too, man. Right when Sentinels were, you know, getting a streak going, closing the gap on the scoreboard, putting the pressure on Envy, they win such a big round because look what it's done. It's put them to double digits, and it's put Sentinels on stingers only. A chance for Envy to creep closer towards map and series point. They have such a big opportunity here to do so.
As far as momentum goes, I think this is arguably one of the more momentous rounds. If you can stunt Sentinels, then you don't lose 13-10 like we saw on Icebox. So they need to continue pushing forward and stopping the plays that they're trying to make. It's just about everybody hovering over towards B this time around. So not going to be a feint, not going to be a fake or anybody trying to lurk on through. It does seem that Sentinels want to make a play here. And the one thing they have going for them is they have the res. So worst case scenario, they can get a man back on the board.
They can, but there's a good defense in place here from Envy. You got Food sitting at the back of B Heaven. You got 2 players on B side itself, and the 2 A defenders are back towards the back halls and can quickly rotate over to reinforce this B site. So this is a really tough spot here for Sentinels, where they are able to get both entries on the defenders. Food strikes back, but only good for 1, and Sentinels somehow still find a way to overwhelm a B site that was pretty well defended.
30 seconds left.
And now running out of time, they're able to get the plant, but it's all down to the last. Mummy, no knives available, only an operator to his name here. Sick gonna try and peek on out. Sick gonna be taken down. Now tossing over by possibly a rifle there that Mummy could opt into using. Dapper gonna play back towards site. Shazam holding it down right next to this tall box, this brand new tall box, as the camera will fall. We'll see what Mummy can get done. Needs to come up huge here. It looks like he's just gonna opt into saving in the 1v2, and this again, it's given that momentum over to Sentinels, a round that they should have lost. They end up winning here, Dust.
That is very true. I mean, everything seemed to be favoring Envy there, positionally, firepower-wise. I mean, it really was just going to take a Herculean brute force maneuver from Sentinels to really find a way to break past it all, and indeed they were up to doing just that. They now put it to 8, couple of rounds away from Envy. Money situation starts to kind of even out. Both teams find themselves in very similar situations in that regard. No one has like a big loss bonus built up. Reset is potentially here for the loser. So this is a big round. This is Envy's moment to hold Sentinels off. This is Sentinels' chance to put themselves in tie position. Such a big one right here, Tanner.
Need to be able to pick this one up. Again, it was Envy who reached 10 rounds first on Icebox, and Sentinels just continued to win all the way on out to take the series 13-10. That is why it is so important to win those rounds that are just going to generate so much momentum. And we'll see what Sentinels can get done with it. They hang on to the res. They have the From the Shadows available. Now, should a push like that happen again, Showstopper is available. We'll see what Food can get done. And if Finesse can find himself another kill on another flank or another lurk, you have the Neural Theft.
Yeah.
Is that Trapwire going to be taken down? So a bit of information towards me.
It's kind of a similar story to Envy's attacking side, right? Like, Sentinels are very effective in varying up their opening formations and varying up the speed at which they want to get mid-control and how they want to finalize. And those Sage Walls that really buy you a lot of options to shut down players from being able to defend lanes correctly, as they are going to once again start hammering away. Now, Crashies does have B main control, at least for now, with the help of his Omen, but now we see the exchanges break out, and it's favoring Envy. They maintain B lobby control. They have so many angles to come back into this B site, and they're a man up, and it's only going to get better with that kill from Mummy.
And Mummy, with those tight angles, he found one trying to sneak on through back towards defender spawn, towards out of heaven, and then does it again here, peeking from the defender spawn. Shazam and Dapper trade him back, though. The odds have been even, and it's all up to Shazam. 100 HP to his name, finds the first kill on the low HP Food, and the spike is planted. So Crashies has to make a play, and he does just that. They will steal the momentum back. They will net themselves an op, and I think Envy fans can take a deep breath now.
Only for just a moment, though, Tanner. The pressure's right back on in just a few seconds, but they've done well here on the Envy side of things. I think the big difference maker there is Envy being able to maintain B lobby control for themselves. That way, if the site folds, they already have a flanking option. It's already built for them. They don't have to worry about laying claim to it slowly and having to clear out corners. No, they have a launching point right off the rip on top of their rotations coming through back halls and B heaven. And Crashies actually winds up multi-fragging out to not only ensure retake routes for Envy, but also to ensure the man advantage. And then Mummy finds a quick op pick as well, and at that point, I mean, there's almost no way for Envy to fail unless they just have a huge hiccup. So this is a big one from Envy, and now Mummy looking to wreak havoc over on the A ramps. Unfortunately, only good for an even exchange. That's going to favor Sentinels a slight bit here as Dapper continues to put that pressure solo at A side. And a nice job by Envy to once again push off B lobby.
And the Neural Theft getting a bit of information. You saw Sick hanging onto that Stinger over towards B. Dapper, Vandal in hand here, so that Arsenal kind of bouncing around. There is an Operator down as well. That was the pickup there in taking down Mummy. Boost goes towards the back inside elbow, and he gets saved. Food to keep him alive as Shazam was storming onto the site. What a heads-up play there.
That is so big. It allows him to complete the ult and stay and not have to cancel so he can be there as a reinforcement to hold this site. That is so massive that he's been able to have that happen for him. And now Sentinels are in a world of trouble. They only had 2 members left. Dapper's trying to backstab. He's been busted as well. And now it's all left to one man. It's Zoms, and he has been having a really rough game. And so to ask him to do this now would just take a crazy effort. with only Stinger in hand. He does get his first man, though.
There's just so much to worry about here. Food just gonna creep on out from underneath Heaven, secure the kill, and bring Envy to map point. And Dust, what are Sentinels going to be able to do?
This
the
is
economy
so
in
huge.
shambles. Yeah.
It was so risky to finish that ult because that could have been a potential lineup spray down. And so for his teammate to bail him out and let him stick it was so big for Envy. And look at this. Envy, 1 round away from tasting victory, 1 round away from conquering Sentinels for the first time. And what a better moment to do it than for a master slot here in stage 1 of the VCT. It's right there for the taking.
And Crashies finds the first kill onto Sinatra, a huge name to have off the board. And Sick is so far away from that resurrection. That wall is going to net the orb. And I believe the knives there coming out for Shazam. So everything going to be used from Sentinels to try and secure this round.
Yeah, but already being a step behind so quickly really limits their options. They have to just kind of play together here. Food still watching for the B Heaven control. Still 2 defenders on the side itself. Some jiggle peeking here. Head been spotted. Food will dump the paint shells. Crashies will peek off of it. So male access is all that will be gained there. No B Heaven control yet from Sentinels. They're trying to split. They're dashing in though. And Shazam lights up the kill feed. That is the big play they needed to get back in the round.
And now we are even across the board. The health bars, sure, they hurt. But Shazam continues to move forward. The momentum gained here for Sentinels as the knives are still available. A 3v2 as Envy try to close it out. A 3v1 and Sentinels will live to fight another day off the back end of a 4K from Shazam.
The absolute hero that Shazam is there for Sentinels cannot be understated. Just dashing in, catching a timing on Caboose. The quick adjustment to Crashies. It was a masterclass jet utilization there from Shazam in a round that they absolutely required to stay alive and keep that hope at pushing overtime alive. It seems like extra rounds would be fitting for this series, to be quite honest with you. These games have been so close, so up in the air at times, so exciting. I'm ready to see these 2 teams continue to duke it out. I'm on board.
I could not agree more. And we're seeing Sentinels come out early in this one, find the damage. It is healed up, but now no armor on this raise for Food. And again, everything matters. But even in that last round, it was the heroics for Sentinels that came out on top, and they just need to do it a few more times. Unfortunately, they don't have a whole lot. Just the showstopper as they continue this slow push up to try and gain control anywhere on this map.
Yeah, this is big from Sentinels. They're starting to put that pressure on middle. They're starting to threaten that B Heaven control again. They've been very successful once they've taken the space of knocking Envy back and being able to overwhelm the site. And it's going to happen again, but the flash comes in. Food builds off of it, gets his kill, puts the paint shells on Male, and continues to push Sentinels back and slow down this ability for them to try to steamroll through. This is big for Envy. Food follows up with the showstopper. It doesn't land a kill, but look at how much clock he is taking away from his opponent.
30 seconds left.
30 seconds left. You hear the announcer. You know the Sentinels are hearing it as well. Sinatra looks to do some heroics of his own. Crashy still in the off angle. He's going to be taken down, but a couple of kills back and forth. Now Zombs trying to find the low HP Food. The spike is on the floor. Sentinels are running out of time. They're finding the kills, but they need to find the plant. Now in a 2v3, Dapper doing his darndest to keep Zombs alive, but it's not enough. The drop down from Heaven, the tag as Dapper tries to dance away, but the kill comes through. Envy will put a stamp in it. They will find their first win over Sentinels in a series, and they will be the first of 4 to qualify for Masters.
Indeed, they will, Tanner. You've really said that story perfectly. There's not much detail I can add, but all I can do is just reinforce how big of a moment this really is for Envy as a team. This Envy squad has often been regarded as one of those top 5 teams in the region. They have always been in the conversation for the elite class of North America. They got their top 4 at First Strike. They were able to get a second place finish at Pop Flash. They were able, to always, at least make the playoffs. Like, they were hardly ever a team to fall out in a group stage. Really, the only real problem was Challengers 1 didn't go so well for them. That was kind of a big mark against them, but they were able, to recover, come back here into Challengers 2, and then steamroll the opposition all the way through, man. No one was stopping them from getting to this point, including just a huge victory over Xset yesterday. And then they come in here today against a Sentinels team that they've never beaten before, a team that's always been their kryptonite, and they come out and they find a way to take the series 2-1. It wasn't easy by any means. Every map went the distance. We never quite had overtime, but I mean, we still went full regulation, it seemed like, each and every time. And it is Envy that find a way to come out on top. And the key, I think, was just how good they were on attack. For considering the fact that both these teams are very defensive, top heavy on a map like Split, and Envy were able to break out with the half that they had, it really set them up nicely. And they were also able to make some good defensive adjustments. I think in particular, denying that B lobby control a couple of times kind of in the middle of that second half really helped Envy build up some rounds. And then at the end, they were just able to, I think that adjustment from Food to challenge B Heaven the way that he did with the flash and slow them down was so pivotal. So they just kind of messed around with the time bank of Sentinels, I think, in a couple of key situations. And just were the stronger team throughout the series. You always just kind of had that feeling in the air that Envy were looking a bit fresher, a bit more on form. And again, their players lately have been absolutely on fire, and the team as a unit has been performing at optimal levels lately. And that's a big victory. Like you said, they are our first team in North America to qualify for Masters here in Stage 1 of the VCT. Of course, we still have Immortals taking on Luminosity over in the other upper bracket semifinal. If I am thinking correctly, I believe they're actually still within map 3. Or no, they're still in map 3. So that's still going on over on our second channel. But hold the phone, because we're not done yet today on the main channel. Sentinels still have to play another game. They are going to be playing 100 Thieves. And the winner of that will also get a Masters slot, while the loser gets eliminated and has to play in Challengers 3. So there's still a lot of Valorant going on today, and there's a lot on the line. These are the matches that really, really matter. So, man, as much as that was a whole ton of fun, I can't wait to just jump into the next one. But I'm sure we got a little bit more to talk about and stuff before we can get there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, as a Sentinel fan, you went through the same exact thing, just a bit sooner in the last Challengers, right? They drop down to the lower bracket. They make their way all the way through, and then they end up winning the darn thing. So you can't count them out, but 100 Thieves is going to be a very, very tough opponent. They are just as hungry. But before we get there, guys, we do have to shoot over a huge shout out and thanks to one of our partners here in HyperX. You guys know what it is. You guys see the gear. You guys see it all flashy. And with HyperX, legendary comfort goes wireless with the HyperX Cloud 2 wireless, built to be an ultra comfortable gaming headset with amazing sound. It is absolutely no wonder that it's become the preferred gaming headset for millions of gamers. Guys, make sure you're checking those out. If you guys didn't see it yesterday, you guys have to go watch the end of the broadcast, because I think Bach put a nice little cherry on top of why you should go wireless by accidentally unplugging his wired headset. So, there's no better way, and there's no better time than right now. But as Dust said, we have a fantastic series going on here. That game 3 for LG IMT is shaping out to be a good one as well. It's back and forth. I think the first game was multiple overtimes. The second game was 11-13, and this one, as I took a peek, it was 5-5. So, wowee, there is a whole lot to be proven there. But right here on this channel, guys, after a short break, we are going to have Sentinels trying to redeem themselves against a very hungry, very, starved 100 Thieves, and we'll see who can get it done. We'll see who can qualify for Masters once more, as we just saw MV did. We'll catch you guys in just a sec.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
Oh, baby. Contrast stitching. Curves that'll hug your body. Adjustable arms. Custom embroidery. Memory foam pillows. Changeable color inserts. Lay flat, recline. Removable logos. Soft, durable material. Yeah. Like what you see, baby? Zip chair.
I feel like I need to defend my scene's honor here, because this is just turning into a bit of a dog battle.
Like in groups always look.
I'm cutting you off here. I'm cutting you off. Cutting you off. He said G2's winning it. He said G2's winning it.
We need to wait till the next EU tournament, which could be in about 10 years now.
Take it with like a grain of salt.
No,
but
that's
that
no
being
fun.
said,
Take it super literally.
Spike defused.